Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss coagulants by Professor Sabah Sheikh. So first we'll see what do you mean by coagulants. So coagulants are drugs that promote coagulation and control bleeding. They are also called as hemostatics. So basically these coagulants are used locally and systemically. We can say it is classified as local coagulants and systemically used coagulant. First we'll see local coagulants. So in that, the first one is the adrenaline sterile cotton, which is soaked in a 1:10,000 solution of adrenaline. Is commonly used in tooth socket and as a nasal packs for epistaxis. Epistaxis is nothing but the nose bleeding. Adrenaline basically arrests the bleeding by vasoconstriction. So vasoconstriction is the mechanism by which adrenaline work as a coagulants. The next is the thrombin powder. Thrombin powder is dusted over the bleeding surface following skin grafting. It is obtained from the bovine plasma. The next one is the fibrin. Fibrin is obtained from the human plasma, is available as sheets. It is used for covering or packaging for packing the bleeding surfaces. The next one is the gelatin foam. This gelatin foam is a porous spongy gelatin used with thrombin to control the bleeding from wound. It gets completely absorbed in 4 to 6 weeks and can be left in a place after suturing the wound. That means this gelatin foam, we are not supposed to take this gelatin foam from the wound surface. It will absorb automatically after 4 to 6 weeks. The next is the thromboplastin powder. It is used in a surgery as septic. And the last one is the astringents. So astringent like tannic acid are used on bleeding gum. Now next is the systemically used coagulants. So it include vitamin K, fibrinogen, special deficient factor like 2nd, 7, 8, 9th and 10th, and ethamsulate. So these are the systemically used coagulants. So first we'll see vitamin K. So vitamin K is a fat soluble vitamin essential for the biosynthesis of clotting factor. So action, now we'll see the mechanism of action. So how this vitamin K act as a coagulant. So as we know that vitamin K is essential for the biosynthesis of clotting factor. So if we give the vitamin K, it will promote the biosynthesis of clotting factor and ultimately it will act as a coagulant. So basically this vitamin K are of different type. Vitamin K1, it is present in food from plant source. Vitamin K2 produced in the gut by bacteria. And vitamin 3, a synthetic compound used therapeutically. Now other coagulants. So fresh plasma or whole blood. Then concentrated plasma fraction like fibrinogen, factor 8, 2nd, 7th, 9th and 10th are available for the treatment of specific deficiency. Suppose we have the deficiency of factor 2. Then in such case we'll give the concentrated plasma fraction to treat that deficiency and ultimately to act as or to promote the process of coagulation. Then ethamsulate. Ethamsulate is used orally to arrest bleeding. The exact mode of action is not known, but it is thought that it acts by inhibiting the synthesis of prostacyclin and correct the abnormal platelet function. So basically this ethamsulate inhibit the synthesis of prostacyclin, and at the same time if there is an abnormality in the platelet function, that can be corrected by the ethamsulate. It is also stabilize the wall of capillary and reduce the capillary bleeding. Now the last part is the uses of coagulants. So prophylaxis and treatment of bleeding due to, so basically why coagulant we use? So coagulant is used mainly for the prophylaxis and also for the treatment of bleeding due to dietary deficiency, prolonged antimicrobial therapy, obstructive jaundice or malabsorption syndrome, and liver disease, and finally the overdose of oral anticoagulant. So these are the uses of coagulant. Thank you.